Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 4, Expressions and Equations. This is Lesson 21, and it is called One-Step Problems in the Real World. And our goal for today is, today we will practice solving equations that incorporate geometry. The question that I want you to think about in this lesson is, do the angle measures matter when trying to set up equations, complementary or supplementary? All right, some things to know. The first thing that we need to do in order for you to be successful in this lesson is we need to figure out what these angle types mean, because our next module we're going to be going into geometry, so this is kind of like a preview of what you're going to be learning. So we need to know angle types, and then we also need to know the names of the types of angles so that we can use that information to help you learn how to set up the equations to solve them. So first thing in the things to know, the angle types. An angle is formed when two rays connect at one common shared endpoint. There are many different types of angles. And so what I was talking about in this definition for you to see is that here is one ray, and here's the endpoint. And then here is another ray, and they have the same endpoint. So this right here is called an angle. Okay, and that's how an angle is formed. It is when you have one ray going one direction and another ray going to another direction. They meet up at a common endpoint, and then this space in between them is called an angle. Okay, the two types of angles that you need to know for this lesson, and that you also need to know for your 6th grade geometry standards, are complementary angles and supplementary angles. Complementary angles are angles that are formed just like this, except when they come together, they add up to equaling 90 degrees. And so if you were looking on a circle, a 90-degree angle is when you have one line or ray intersects with another line or ray, forming a right angle, which is exactly 90 degrees. And the way that we know that it's exactly 90 degrees is we use this little tool right here called a protractor. And what a protractor does is it actually shows you the angle measures based off of the unit circle. And so this whole thing going in a circle goes all the way around. And if we had one that went all the way around, you would see that you start over here at 0, which is right there, labeled 0 there. And, oh, that's because I have it upside down. I'm sorry. All right, so anyway, it starts at 0 here. And then you go around, and as you're going around, it increases in degrees by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And there's the 90-degree angle. And then you keep going. That would end at 120 or at 180. Then you keep going, and it would go to 270. And then you come all the way back up, and it would be back to 360. So that's what they're talking about in degrees. So a complementary angle, the most important thing that you can remember about a complementary angle is that when you put the two rays together that makes the angle that is formed must be 90 degrees, like you would see on that protractor that I just got done showing you. The little symbol that we use that denotes 90 degrees is that little box. It has to have that little box in order for it to equal 90 degrees. Okay, and so that's what complementary angles are. They are angles that when they are formed, they add up to this size, which happens to be 90 degrees. So my picture right there is a 90-degree angle, but it doesn't show you two added together. So I'm going to add this little line right here, and I'm going to tell you that's another ray. So basically what I'm telling you about complementary angles is you would take this angle right here, and you would add it to this angle over here, and the orange angle plus the green angle, when you add them together, they make 90 degrees because they fill in that whole area of the 90-degree angle. So this orange angle is complementary to the green angle. That's how we would say it. The orange angle is complementary to the green angle, and that's what you need to know about complementary angles. So then the next set of angles that you need to be responsible for in knowing is supplementary angles. And supplementary angles are very important because it says multiple angles that add up to equal 180 degrees. So basically what we're looking at is, here is, if you have a straight angle, supplementary is also the same as a straight angle. So if you read somewhere and they're asking you to draw a straight angle, what they're talking about is they're talking about a straight line. And the reason why it's called a straight angle is, let's say there's a point right here, they're talking about the degrees all the way across, like that. So when you add up all the angles that we're going to draw in here, they have to equal 180 degrees. So if I have a ray that attaches to the endpoint there, and let's say I have an array that attaches here, okay, and then let's say that I have a ray attaches there, then what you are seeing right now is you are seeing 4 different angles that when you add them together, so this is the red angle right here, right? That's the red angle. Then we would say that this from here to here is the blue angle. I hope you can see that okay. And then I would say from here to here is the green angle, right? And then lastly, let's go from here to here is the orange angle. So basically what we're looking at here is we're saying that the red angle plus the blue angle plus the green angle all equals 180, which is what we're looking for the straight angle, right? So the red angle plus the blue angle plus the green angle, I forgot one, equals, let's actually change this to orange because I colored it orange, I'm sorry, plus the orange angle is equal to 180, which is the supplementary angle, okay? So we're saying that red plus blue plus green plus orange all equal 180 because it's a straight angle. And if you look at our picture, that is true. So we have this red one plus this blue one plus this green one plus this orange one all equal 180. Okay? And so that's what you need to know about supplementary angles. Complementary angles, it's 90. And you could have more than 2, but you have to remember they all add up to 90. Supplementary, it's 180. That's how you're going to keep those straight, okay? Another name for the complementary angles is also, you can remember it as right angles, because I know you're familiar with that. Okay, so complementary is the same thing as a right angle, and supplementary is the same as a straight angle, and that's how you can remember those. Now, for some reason, what we need to do now is, that was a quick down and dirty geometry lesson, which you will get more of when we get into our geometry module. But what you're actually doing with it today is we're trying to set up equations that we can use in our expressions and equations module to help you try some other practice with building one-step problems in real world. So we have this angle over here that we have been learning about, and we know that it's a 90-degree angle, so it must mean that we're looking for complementary. So this one is complementary. And then what you have to do with a complementary angle is you have to set up what you know so that you can solve it. So we know that something plus something in this instance has to equal 90 degrees because it's complementary. And the reason why I only put 2 blanks is that if you look at the actual picture, there's only 2 angles. So we're going to say we have an angle that is the size of x degrees, and then we're also going to say that we have an angle that is 37 degrees. So we're going to put that right there. And now you know how to solve these, because all you have to ask yourself is, what number plus 37 equals 90? And if we don't know how to do that, then we just have to work backwards like the way that we have. So I don't know exactly what that would be, but I know that 90 minus this will give me that. And so if I do the math and I say, okay, 90 minus 37 will give me x, which is true, then I now have 10 minus 7 is 3, and 8 minus 3 is 5. And so now I know that x, that angle x, has to equal 53 degrees, because 53 plus 37 adds up to 90. And we know that these are complementary because it's a 90-degree angle. Okay? So going back to our goal, today we will practice solving equations that incorporate geometry. Totally did. Had an impromptu little geometry lesson about angles. Do the angle measures matter when trying to set up equations? Absolutely, they matter. You have to remember that complementary is 90, and you have to remember that supplementary is 180. And please do not get them mixed up, because then you will get really confused. So complementary is 90, supplementary is 180, and you have to remember those to set up the equation correctly. All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you in this lesson. Talk to you soon. Bye.